From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven Erlandson, takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Welcome, people. Someone please take me out of here. Welcome to the Badass Counseling Show podcast. I am your host, Sven Erlandson, wherever you are checking in from, whether it is Oklahoma or Arkansas or Iceland or even Taiwan. We have listeners around the world, and we're just so grateful that you are here joining us. We love our listeners. We love your questions that you send into the show. We love your comments. It's just, we're so blessed. We really are. I was joking right as Rob was bringing up the show here because we have one of those times when oftentimes, usually Casey is over in the booth or she's remote and she'll be, tuning in with the show remotely via Zoom, and but we actually have her in the studio at the mixing board with Rob, touching his buttons, and he's slapping her hand, saying, "Get away from my buttons," and so forth. So it's always a trip when Casey comes out of the booth because she's like a tiger unleashed, and we love her to death, and she sort of runs us. And anyway, so the tiger is unleashed. Rob the Rocket and Casey are sitting next to me. What say ye, fine people?
There's so much in here to touch. I just can't. I can't resist.
I'm not prepared to discuss this.
All right. And it always has to turn dirty.
And so let me ask, I will ask, has anyone had any interesting earworms, music in your head this last week? Any earworms?
I always have an earworm, but I can't think of one right now.
I have had one. I've had Lover Boys, loving every minute of it in my head.
I like it.
Yeah, it's not only the message, and it's that driving beat. Loves the Little Lover Boy. They weren't a big group. They were popular, but not a Hall of Fame group. But anyway, I've had some Lover Boy in me this week. So that's all I know about that, fine people. We're doing something different today. For our listeners, we want you to know we are doing something that we've never done before. First of all, as you know, we always enjoy having men as guests on the show, and we have two men today. And that can be a little tricky for hearing voices, but they have distinct names, and we'll find out about their stories. But what we're doing is we're actually doing two shows. And it will run 1 week, and then the subsequent week, two shows with the same two men. These two fellows don't know each other, and we just thought it would be an interesting thing to sort of take for a test run. So, with all that in mind, we're going to start with one, and then we'll bring the other one in after a few minutes. Rob, would you please go ahead and tell us about Skip?
All right, Sven, I would be happy to. Here we have Skip's message to us, and he said, I'm struggling with addiction, faith, father-son relationship, doubt, regret, shame, sense of direction, and purpose. I feel that a conversation with Sven would have the same effect on me as reading his book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup. His experience with suicide moved me to the point of breaking, and in a sense, feeling renewed. I punched the book once out of anger for realizing how fucked up I was and still am, but I know I've made some progress into becoming who I really want to be. One big question I'd ask Sven, how would you create the courage to live and become who you are without fear, doubt, regret, and shame?
Skip, welcome to the show.
Hello, Sven.
It's great to have you here. Great to have you here. And so you said that you would like to have a conversation with me. It would be the same as reading the Love Cup book. Short conversation, no. Maybe a very, very long conversation. But the book has a very different effect. But I want to get into your second sentence there. You said, his experience with suicide moved me to the point of breaking and, in a sense, feeling renewed. Tell me briefly what you were referring to there, if you would, please, Skip.
Um, for a couple of years, I've been struggling with the thought, suicidal thoughts, and I didn't even register. My mind didn't even register it at that moment. But when I was reading your book, you mentioned very shortly your experience about with suicide, um, and it it made me realize that it's something very specific, right? So it made me realize that I'm actually worth living, and that realization really just broke me. You know, I just um,
What is it that makes you this is gonna sound like a dumb question. What is it that makes you think you're worth living? I know that sounds crazy to even ask, but what is it makes you that made you think, or what is it specifically that makes you think you and your life are worth living? Just out of curiosity, because obviously prior to that, you didn't think that. And so what was the realization? What specifically makes you worth living?
well, the thing is that what you wrote on in the book, your experience actually made me realize that I was living something similar in the way that mm, um how to put it, um so to answer your question, right? um Now I believe that it it's actually worth um you know um, doing um, things for my life. I don't know how to put this.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Tell you what, let's
But yeah.
do this. Go ahead. Finish
Okay.
your thought. Finish your thought.
Well, basically, the book helped me realize that other people that are having similar thoughts or the same situation or the similar situation actually get to realize that their life is worth living. And because you made that realization in the book, I then did that myself. You know,
Understood. Let me ask you this. What is it? What would you say, looking back? First of all, how old are you, Skip?
31.
31. All right. What would you say, looking back, is the single biggest thing in your life that has most afflicted you? What's been the biggest source of pain in your life? Number one, top of the list. What are we talking about here?
Yeah. Shame.
Shame. And regarding what? Where, either A, shame regarding what, or from what source, or how the hell did it happen? How did it come from?
It was sexual abuse and uh, also uh, well, pretty much that. Yeah.
Okay. And so
I mean,
I'm going to ask you a question then, a couple of questions. And if you don't want to answer them, it's okay. Just say, "Meh, I don't really feel comfortable with answering that." And that's totally okay. Okay. I'm going to ask you then. So you said sexual abuse, you brought it up, which takes courage even to admit. You didn't say that in your write up. And so I admire you for even bringing it up. It can be a very difficult topic to discuss. Okay. And again, you don't have to answer any of the questions if you don't want to. It's totally okay. But let me ask you, how old were you when you were sexually abused?
I was a kid.
How old?
Happened twice.
How old?
Oh, 5. I was around 5 or 6.
5 or 6. And you say it happened 2 times. And who did it? Do you know?
Uh, it was 2 kids, and then it was the cleaning lady.
Okay. First time was 2 kids, and the second time was the cleaning lady. All
Yeah.
right. And in that time and the time afterwards, okay,
Hmm.
an hour later, a day later, a week later, a month later, a year later, what was the effect on you immediately, or what do you remember?
Shutting down. Um, I remember since I was a kid, I never talked about anything that was remotely emotionally charged or whatever. Um, I remember just suppressing everything, anger, frustration, everything, man. I've been to therapy before, but your book, man. I mean, it really shook me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good. Glad to hear that. Hopefully, in a shook the tree in a good way. You
Yeah.
said good. What do you think the reason is? Help people understand. For someone who's never been sexually abused, they may not understand why sexual abuse would cause you, in this case, to shut down. Why did you shut down? As best as you can think about it, looking back, why did you shut down?
Well, I didn't say anything to my mom, and my parents were divorced, right? So my father was never there. I didn't have the support. So when you're a kid and you don't have that defense or that support from your parents, especially during a time where you're being sexually abused, um, well, you're gonna have two reactions, right? It's gonna be flight or fight. I had flight,
Okay.
so I did.
Understandable. And you were just trying to survive. You were just trying to
Right.
make it through one more day. You mentioned that you didn't tell that dad was gone. Dad's out of the picture. So obviously you couldn't tell him. What was the reason? And you're 5 or 6. So no one is in any way, even remotely disparaging you for anything. You were trying to survive. All right. So there's no judgment here. Okay, Skip. And so let me ask you, what do you think the reason was that you didn't tell your mom? It's okay. There's no judgment. I'm just curious.
She later found out because one of her friends was the person that shamed me in my own house without her knowledge.
Wait a minute. Another person was the person who shamed you, or was the person who sexually abused you?
The mother of the kid who abused me, she shamed me in front of a ton of people in my own house
Okay.
without the knowledge of my mother. I was just 5 or 6, and she was just going at me, like, oh, you're gay or you're, I don't know what. And her kid is like 4 or 5 years older than I was. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this lady? But yeah,
So wait a minute.
um,
That still doesn't explain how your mom found out that her son sexually abused you.
I have no idea.
So it came out in that moment then.
No
How did
idea.
your mom find out that those boys sexually abused you?
I have no idea. She
Okay.
probably found out from another mother or something like that. I don't know.
But that would have required either those boys telling or
Oh, yeah,
you
no, it was
telling.
a thing. I mean, huge. I mean, there were other people there, and it was. She probably found out from other people.
Okay, hold on, just so I'm clear. I'm a little slow sometimes, all right? Stay with me here. So that woman in that moment said out loud with the other people around that her boy sexually molested you?
She was trying to portray me as the abuser.
Okay, okay. So basically, right. But okay, and that's wrong. But that means prior to her saying that, she had knowledge.
That her son abused me. Yes.
Right. Which means, and is it reasonable to assume that no one was around when these boys sexually abused you?
Oh yeah, no, that was another day. Yeah.
Okay. So if no one was around when these boys abused you, and if you didn't tell anyone, then there's only one other option. One of those two boys told someone, and it got back to the mother, or one of those boys told their own mother. Is that correct?
I have no idea. I
But
mean,
reasonably, if there were
yeah, I
only
mean,
3 people there, one of
yeah,
those 3 people had to tell, right?
exactly. It was one of those two boys.
Right, you didn't, so one of those 2 boys told their mother.
Right. Or
Right. And
how they found.
then, okay, then publicly, in front
Yeah.
of other people, this woman chooses to shame a 5-year-old
Oh yeah. Yeah.
that you somehow caused this to happen. Was your mother Did you say your mother was present when this woman was doing this? It was in your
No,
home? No? Say that again, please.
she was at work.
She was at work. So then
Yeah.
it eventually got back to your mother. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Now it makes sense. So then what was your mother's response to you? Or when she came to you? Um,
She took me to therapy because I wasn't talking.
okay. Do you recall when she actually talked to you first about it?
I don't recall exactly, but
Okay.
I remember that it was day and night, you know.
Okay.
So um she started taking me to these places. I mean, it just started to notice like a 5 or 6 year old would notice changes in his life.
Okay.
Just going to therapy, doing more stuff. getting away from those people, those kind of things.
Okay. So, and then let me ask you this then. Um, is there a possibility that, and I know this is a dumb question, but I'm going to ask anyway. Is there a possibility that you told her and somehow blocked it out or don't remember, or that would have never happened?
I'm pretty sure I blocked it out. I mean, I wasn't talking.
So,
I
okay, you weren't talking. Okay. And so then one more question. Is it, do you know, and this requires you to really dig deep here, and you're doing great. Stay with me here. Do you know specifically that your mom took you to those therapists and doctors or whatever for being sexually abused? Or did your mother potentially take you there because you had shut down and she noticed a distinct change in your behaviors that she had no explanation for? Or did you know definitively that that's why she was taking you to these doctors?
Well, I'm pretty sure when I was a kid, I didn't realize that, but now as an adult, I know that she did. I
Wait,
asked her like years later. I
she
asked
did
her,
what? I asked you an either or question. Which one was it?
oh, she took me because she knew that I was sexually
Okay,
abused,
she
and
knew.
yeah, and the abuse caused this shutdown.
Okay, so she did not. So then, if I'm clear, she did not recognize, even though you are telling us, I shut down, I never talked about anything, I chose out of fight or flight or freeze or fawn, I chose flight, all of these things, and she didn't, of her own accord, notice any of that.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure she didn't because she knew about the situation that I had with that woman and her kid, and
You wait, did you
apparently,
say you're pretty sure she did not, or did?
oh, at the moment,
No, when she, no, no, hold on.
okay,
After this happens, you said, I shut down, man. I fucking
yeah,
shut down. I didn't open up to anybody. I never talked about it. Let me ask you, do you believe, to the best of your recollection, you're 5 or 6 years old, probably, well, you've already said, the most traumatic event of your life. Is it reasonable to assume, based on what you've said, that you went, or perhaps you outright remember, that you went through a massive personality shift as a
yeah,
result of that event from that moment, day forward? Yes or no?
yeah,
Okay. And then what I'm asking is, prior to your mother discovering through the grapevine, did your mother recognize this massive personality shift in Skip?
yes,
She did.
yes.
Do you recall what the period of time was between this event happening to you, this traumatic, terrible sexual abuse happening to you, and her finding out that you had been sexually abused? Roughly. We talking a
A month,
year? Are we talking a month?
yeah,
A month. Okay.
around a month.
A month. And so in that month, you're saying that she recognized this change in your behaviors? And if
Yeah,
so, how do you know that?
because she started taking me to therapies and
Well,
talking to specialists and
wait a minute. Wait a minute. I thought a minute ago you said she started taking your therapies because she found out you had been sexually abused.
oh, oh, I thought you were talking about prior. No, immediately.
Earlier, no, no, no. Earlier I asked you, did she start taking you to therapy because she found out about sexual abuse, or because, there'd been a change in how you act? You said it was because of the sexual abuse. Now I'm asking you sort of this exact same question again. What I'm trying to determine is did she recognize a change in you with before she discovered that you had been sexually abused? And do we know if she took you to doctors because of the sexual abuse or because she recognized a change in your behaviors?
No, and she just took me to therapies and stuff like that after because she
After.
noticed. Yeah,
Okay. So then a
yeah,
change in your personality has already happened for that month before she finds out this news through the grapevine.
yeah,
Right. Doesn't register or doesn't do anything about it. You're going through this stuff. Okay. Got it. That makes sense. Now, I have one more question, then we're going to take a quick break. And the question is simply this. Um, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just curious. What do you think the reason is that you didn't tell your mother?
Wow.
And why? Just out of curiosity, I'm curious now. Why did you say "wow" right there?
Um,
Why did you say "wow"? Nothing wrong with it, but I'm just curious.
it's the first time I think about it, honestly.
Okay.
And
And so why do you think you didn't tell your mother? We knew why you didn't tell your dad. He was out of the picture. But why didn't you tell
right.
mom? Again, no, there's nothing wrong with it. You're a 5-year-old kid. What the fuck do you know? Right? This is something that's never happened to you before. But why do you think you didn't tell your mother?
That's a tough one.
If you were to
I have no
speculate,
idea. I was a 5-year-old kid who didn't understand what was going on.
understood. Understood. Prior to that, were you a kid who asked a lot of questions? Were you an outgoing kid?
Yeah,
Chatty?
yeah, yeah, very.
Okay. So then here this new experience happens to you and you shut down, overwhelming experience and so forth, terrible experience,
Yeah.
and you didn't ask, which there can be a million different responses to sexual abuse. None of them wrong. None of them. Okay.
I know.
Right. But I'm just curious. I'm just curious. One of those boys chose to go to their mother. And that may have been bad. There's no bad, there's no good, whatever. I'm just curious, trying to find out what was going on inside of the little boy who was the victim. That's all.
um, yeah, I don't know how to answer that.
Okay, then one more question before the break. And the question is this: what went on inside of you when you were publicly humiliated by that mother?
Oh man, I
What went
remember like
on inside of you? What did you feel?
deep shame,
Right.
just to the root. You know, I mean, I couldn't believe that an adult that I trusted, that my mom trusted, would shame me in such a way. You know, she was
Right.
just like adamant. You know, angry. I'm
Right.
like, holy crap.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back after this.
I'm in a really healthy relationship now with someone I trust, but that wasn't always my story. I was married for 12 years and there was cheating, a lot of it. And even though I've moved on, I realized I hadn't actually healed. That stuff doesn't just disappear, it shows up in fear, in doubt, in the way you love. I started reading Cheating Sucks because I didn't want my past to sabotage my current relationship. And for the first time, I feel like I understand what happened and how to finally let it go. Cheating Sucks. Available in paperback and audiobook at BadassCounseling.com.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
And we are back to the show. We are now moving from Skip over to Everett. Skip told us of being sexually abused when he was 5 or 6 years old by a couple of neighborhood boys, older boys, and then later by the cleaning lady. We're going to do a hard shift over here now to Everett with a completely different story. Go ahead, Rob.
All right, Sven Everett wrote in, and the subject line was Owning My Shit from My Own Childhood and My Parenting of My Own Adult Children. And Everett's message was I am worthless. Your podcast hit home like a rock. Then I realized, even though I was different, I still created the same worthlessness in my own children. I've started the process of owning my shit with them, but I do realize they still have to do the work.
Everett, welcome to the show.
Morning. Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks for coming on. Everett, first of all, how old are you?
I'm 57.
57. And how old are your kids?
My oldest is 30 and my youngest is 19.
Okay, helpful. Thank you. Okay. You open with a very powerful statement. You said, I am worthless. And then you go on with an even more powerful statement. I still created the same worthlessness in my children. Two very powerful things. Okay. Massive admissions. Um, I'm curious, how is it, above all else, that you believe you created that same worthlessness in your children? Above all else, one sentence or less.
I wasn't a safe place.
Meaning,
Uh, Anger, my self worth didn't exist, so I used everything that a normal child would do or act as a hit to I'm a worthless piece of crap. So I set down rules. Was extremely strict. Um, I carried a lot of anger.
and
Didn't
what,
see it at the time.
okay. Extremely strict, carried a lot of anger. And what was the? Tell me again. What was the connection between laying down all the rules, being extremely strict, and you having no self worth? And what was the sort of the connection of how you felt and to how you treated them? What do you see in one sentence
I,
as the connection?
what is the connection? I acted just like my parents.
What's that? Right.
I
Okay.
acted just like my father.
So you, so you were simply you're saying that basically I just did what was done to me. I didn't know any better.
I yeah, I so my childhood was physical and emotional abuse.
Mhm.
I didn't do the physical, but I did the emotional because I just wasn't safe. There was no hugging or you had a good day. If they had a bad day, I took it personally and got angry and said, "You're grounded for 2 months." And it just, I know that now. I see that now. I
Sure.
just
Sure.
then
Sure. What are you feeling right now? Give me a feeling word, please, Everett.
heartbroken.
Heartbroken. And what is the most heartbreaking thing about what you're discussing right now? What is the single most heartbreaking part?
Give
You're
me a
there.
second.
What is it? It's
Um,
right there on your tongue. What is it?
that my kids feel worthless.
Not actually, but see themselves as worthless. Is that what you mean?
Yes, yes, the same way I did. That I created that.
Hmm. Give me one more feeling word. What else are you feeling? What's the giggle?
I carry because I carried a lot of that guilt and shame.
Hmm. Because of that or because of other stuff?
Yeah, because of my parenting. That, like I said, I did everything different, but I didn't.
Okay. And so you did
I still created I created the same effect that my own childhood parents did to me on them, even just being so hard ass.
well, you said I did everything different, but I thought you said you did the same thing your dad did.
The hollering and screaming. So my
What
childhood.
did you do different? What's the top thing you
So
did different?
my childhood was my dad would stand in my bedroom and tell me I was a worthless piece of shit and I'd never amount to anything.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't do that to my kids.
Okay.
But so I went into a self-worth thing with journaling, and this is how I come to where I am today, realizing all this crap because my self-worth was non-existent. I This is how I think I still believe I'm a worthless piece of shit, probably.
Right.
Um,
Right. And so
everything they did as a child, normal childhood rebellion, if you want to call it that, or uh,
right.
not wanting to be
Sure. Normal.
I took yeah, normal kid
You
stuff.
took
I
it
took
personally, and the underlying message, the personal message
against
that
the
you
hit
felt.
to my own self-worth. Yes.
Okay, and what was the message that you felt every time your kids, didn't listen to you or blew their nose on, the tablecloth or whatever, did kid shit? You believed, you felt, even if you never thought about it at the time, looking back, what was the underlying message that you felt like they were sending to you? They weren't, they were just being kids, but what was the underlying
Yeah.
message you felt like they were sending to you?
That's good. That they didn't love me.
They didn't love me. Right. Question. Um, you said your opening sentence was, I am worthless, and you have since said it again. What, if you were to be totally honest, just being straight here, all right, talking from, and you can even close your eyes when you answer this question, okay? In fact, I want you to close your eyes, all right? You're not missing anything. I still am just sitting here, so there's nothing. I want you to close your eyes and just answer one question. There's no right or wrong answer, and there's no judgment. Today, what percent do you see yourself as worthless? If you were to speak from your core, from your down deep and feel the answer, what percent do you truly see yourself as worthless? Being totally honest.
70%.
70%. Okay. And then the 30% that you do not see as worthless, what is that 30% in one sentence or less?
Uh, Doing the journaling, I started working on the work list. I had homework where I had to write something about value about myself every day. So the 30% would be
What's the
I
top
know
top of the list?
I know the 70% isn't shouldn't be true or real. I shouldn't see that or it shouldn't be there.
Sure, but that doesn't make
The
it go
30%,
away. What is the
right?
30% that you actually see as having worth about you?
I'm human.
Hmm. So you have value simply because you exist.
Yes,
Hmm.
that was part of my homework.
Hmm. Okay. And above all else, other than the hollering and the screaming and the hitting, how was you being worthless most conveyed to you as a kid?
Oh,
Above all else, and maybe it was one of those things.
I
Actually,
never.
how was it
So
most
nobody.
conveyed?
I wasn't never recognized as a kid unless I did something wrong.
You were recognized as
So
what?
as just existing.
Okay. So how was your worthlessness most conveyed to you as they, or so it felt?
Uh, My answer wants to be when they stood in the door and said, "You're a worthless piece
There it
of
is.
crap."
There it is. There it is. Okay. And you said when they stood in the door, yet previously you said when dad stood in the door.
So is my dad. Yeah.
Okay. And what was the message then? If it was different, what was the fundamental message you got from your mom?
Because I know your podcast, I kind of um
Good.
my mom just left it. She didn't say nothing. She just listened to it and went on about her business, or maybe she toned it out or ignored it.
How convenient
Um,
for her then. So just did you have siblings? Yes or no?
yes, I had a sister,
Older, younger?
younger.
Was she treated differently than you were
Yes,
treated
yes,
by dad?
she was daddy's girl.
I see. So now we can no longer claim that dad did his best. We can no longer claim that dad did his best with you because he treated her better. So he was capable of better. You might even be sitting at the motherfucking kitchen table having your Fruit Loops and your grapefruit, and he's being sweet to his golden child little girl, his baby girl, and he's being, shithead to you. He's literally like turning a lamp on and off, turning it on for her, turning over to you literally a second later and turning it off, turning it back on, off, on, off. So it wasn't that he did his best. He literally proved to you, likely every single day, and micro moments within that day, many, many times, that he was capable of far better. He just chose to turn it on for her. Is that correct?
Yes.
So he didn't.
Seeing that now, yes.
Yeah, right. And back to the other thing, and then I'm coming back over to you, Skip. Um, Back to the other thing, then, you said mom just sort of left it or tuned it out. Did dad, how did dad treat your mom? More like how he treated you or more like how he treated your sister? Or something completely
Um,
different?
there was silence pretty much in the house with them. The only time I even remember them really communicating is when they got in an argument.
Okay. And did
And
dad
then
holler at her and scream at her?
no, he usually didn't say anything too much until, my mom would escalate it to the point like throwing coffee on him, and then he would holler some mean belittling name.
All right. So,
And then
generally speaking, you're saying mom would escalate?
yeah, she would start talking and he wouldn't respond or ignore or however you do that. And then she would just do something to make it go further.
Well, then, one last question then, sorry. What if recognizing that in any relationship, whether between you and your boss, you and your subordinates, you and your buddies, you and your kids, you and your, wife, girlfriend, whatever, there are a whole bunch of different powers and fears operating. Fear that you might leave me, you control the money, fear you might be a bitch, fear you might be an asshole to me, whatever, all these different fears and powers. What would you say was the distribution of power in your parents' relationship? Who had what percent of the power? Was it 20-80, 80-20? Was it 60-40? What was the distribution of power just between mom and dad?
Thinking about it right now, I would say mom probably had 80% of the power and dad had 20.
All right. Think about what you just said. Think about what you just fucking said. Mom had the power, and she would no doubt then use it to what, her benefit? Is that
Yes.
okay? So mom had
And
the
now
power.
that you're saying it, that's exactly what I.
Are you seeing where I'm going?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. I'm going to spell it out for those who might be new to the show. Mom had the power and we're taking it from a boy's perspective. That's all we've got to go on here. But from where you sat, you know these people as well as anyone. From where you sat, mom had 4 times as much power as dad. So dad was abdicating at least some of his power. It wasn't just 50-50. And she was overrunning him or taking that power from him or both, whatever. And mom had 4 times as much power, yet when he's screaming and she would use that power to protect herself or to extract things for herself, you just said. But when he's screaming and hollering at you, you worthless fucking piece of shit. And when he's hitting you, she tunes it out. She uses her power for her benefit. She does not use her power to protect her son. Who, as you see it from where you sit today, looking backwards, who committed the greater crime? Dad, in hollering, yelling, calling you a fucking piece of shit and hitting you. You don't report that mom hit you. Maybe she did. You don't report that mom put you down. Maybe she did. But at the very least, mom had 4 times as much power as dad and did not protect you. Who committed the greater crime? And only one person can answer this question for you, and that is you. Everyone else can have their fucking 2 cents of opinion, but in the end, only you can answer it. So I'm curious from where you sit, and there's no right or wrong answer, but who committed the greater crime?
My mother.
And what fundamentally was the crime in your childhood for the first 20 years, if you were to put it into one sentence, that your mother committed against you?
She let it happen.
She let it happen. In other words, she didn't protect you.
Yeah, she would every time when the arguments would escalate, she would actually leave the house and leave me there. And I always wondered why she did that when she knew he hated me.
Sounds like it could almost be argued that she hated you more.
That's what it's starting to feel like.
She'd leave the house completely unprotected, even though she had the power. I'm going to give you a little breather here. Skip, just out of curiosity, Skip. So we went into some of your story there, Skip, about being sexually abused. Okay. I want to ask one check-in question first before I move forward. Briefly, what are you feeling right now as a result of either my conversation with you or perhaps even what you've heard from Everett, whatever? Where are you at right now? I want a feeling word. What are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling grateful, honestly, because I've looked for help in different places, different people,
Mm-hmm.
and I appreciate this moment.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Now, let me ask you this. If there were a second feeling that you're feeling, what are you feeling? Grateful is excellent. Thank you. And what is this second? If there were another feeling or two that you're feeling, what else are you feeling right now?
Discomfort to a
And
level yeah.
what is the most uncomfortable, discomforting thing that you're feeling? Where's the discomfort come from? Makes total sense, but I'm just curious. What's causing you to feel most uncomfortable right now?
Talking about something that I never talk about, not even with my past, um, um, even in past sessions.
With other therapists and stuff.
Yes, yes, yes.
And
I
why? And what's the reason? And there's nothing wrong with it. It's actually quite common. What's the reason you never talked about it with past therapists?
just this deep rooted shame,
So why are you talking about it now?
because the book um, that you wrote actually made me realize a lot of stuff, and
And so why does that make you want to talk about it now?
because I want to be better, I want
Okay,
to be free of it.
that's fair. So you told me about the boys molesting you,
Yeah,
and but how long later was it before the cleaning lady molested you, sexually abused you?
months.
Months later. Months later. Okay. Um, did you have any siblings?
No, I'm an only child.
Only child. And your mom was a single mom then, I assume?
Yeah, she was working all the time.
Okay. She was working all the time. And what sort of work did your mom do, if you don't mind sharing?
She was a director of a school.
Director of a school. Wow. Smart woman, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, and so she's a director of a school, and the cleaning lady sexually abusing you. Did it happen during the daytime, or did
night
the what's that?
night time.
Okay, and that actually surprises me. That a cleaning lady is working at night, unless in a corporate office. Why would a cleaning lady? How would a cleaning lady have access to you? Was it in your home?
Yeah. So usually here in Mexico, if the cleaning lady doesn't have a home nearby in her town, she would stay at a house. So usually here we have houses here in Mexico have a third or fourth bedroom, small bedroom for cleaning ladies, and my mom was not there because she was working. And one night, this lady just decided to abuse me, and as as she was doing this to me, my mom arrived. I remember this clearly, and she just fucking panicked. panicked. She just started getting dressed and stuff like that, and just went downstairs running towards her room. And by then I was already silent. So my mom came home. She went into my room. Nothing happened. I didn't say anything, and it just went on. I later told my mom, like 10, 15 years later, that happened.
When you
Um,
say it just went on, you mean life went on? You said
yeah,
she came down, she panicked. Okay, okay. And you 10, 15 years later told her what?
I told my mom about it, like what happened with that cleaning lady, and she was just torn to tears because she didn't know
So when she got home, she didn't know.
that happened. Yeah, because the cleaning lady just like quickly moved on to her room.
Okay. And so by this point, you were already in therapy, right?
Yeah, I was already silent.
Okay. And in your therapy, to the best of your knowledge, did you ever discuss being sexually abused?
I was a kid, man. I mean, the person that was treating me, she just said, "Hey, can you draw something like this or try to draw that stuff like that just to figure it out?" Because I would not talk, man. I mean,
Okay.
I went silent.
Okay. So you didn't even talk about the sexual abuse in therapy with as a child.
That's right.
I see. And but your mom, you say your mom knew that you had been sexually abused. Um, and did the cleaning lady still live with you after she sexually abused you?
Yeah, for a few months, and then she left for some reason or another.
Okay. I want to bring KC in here just for a moment. Um, in a minute, I'm going to bring KC in. Um, but before I do, um, when you look back on this sequence of events, because this happened within just a few months of each other,
Yeah.
4 or 5, 6 months, whatever it was. As you look back on that, what thoughts do you have right now? Having said it out loud, what thoughts do you have right now?
Um, it makes me realize the repercussions that it has done in my life, and regarding personal relationships, work relationships. I have my notebook here from all the journaling I've been doing. Um,
Are you
it's
mad
just
at
your
that? Are you mad at that little boy that he didn't say anything? The little boy that was Skip?
Yeah.
Are you?
I don't know if I'm angry with that boy, but I'm really angry with the lady.
Sure.
I did write, you're you know for sure that I wrote about that bitch because I mean that woman really did me a disfavor,
Which fucked you up more? And maybe there's no more or less. Maybe there's no either or. Which fucked you up more, what the boys did or what that lady did?
it was the lady
Why?
because she shamed me in front of everyone and
Okay,
people.
I'm sorry. I meant to ask a different question. Of course, that lady shaming you, terrible. Which fucked you up more, what those boys did to you or what the cleaning lady did to you?
The boys.
Why?
Um, it involved more things,
Meaning,
um, meaning that they abused me in a different way.
okay, do you feel comfortable saying it?
No,
That's fair. That's fair. But for you, it was worse. It was more humiliating.
yeah,
Right. And in your journaling, have you been journaling and writing those boys letters that you don't send?
yep.
And what is the single biggest message that you say to those boys in your letters?
Um, well, go F yourself.
What's that? Go
Go
fuck
F.
yourself?
Yeah,
Okay.
basically.
All right. I want to
Yeah.
bring Casey in here for a minute. Casey, do you have any thoughts for, we're talking to Skip right now. Any thoughts or questions? If not, I have more.
One question I have is, are you writing letters also to the mother that humiliated you? Because I don't I don't know what it's like to be in your position, Skip, but I'm so angry at the mother that then shamed you for what her sons had done, even if you were the perpetrator, like for a mother to shame any child over this kind of thing,
And
it's
you weren't
just
the perpetrator, but go
you
ahead,
were
Casey.
not. I mean, you were the victim, and you were shamed by the mother. I just don't understand that. Were
I know.
there any consequences for her in this? And are you trying to get your rage, hatred, hurt of her abuse of you out?
Wow. I've tried, but I'm really still angry at her even after writing a couple of those letters that you never send.
Yeah.
Um, and yes, it was a very, very weird situation because she was in my own house. My mother wasn't there. There were other kids that had nothing to do. I think there was even another adult there. The consequences for this woman was that my mother, when she later found out, they were all part of this group of friends, right? So my mother said it, and somehow this lady transformed the whole situation where I was the perpetrator, you know, even after my mom said to her friends, this lady did this to my son, she somehow brainwashed the friends, and I was friendless for years after that. So the consequences for that woman, I mean, I guess it's her own life. Um, the way that she lives is her own purgatory, I guess. And if you if you think about it a little bit more, I mean, the fact that she was so ashamed that her son would abuse me, and she probably and her kid probably abused other people, and that's how she found out about
Oh,
how
that makes
her kid
sense.
abused. Um, but yeah, there
And
were
perhaps her child was shut my mic.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Casey.
And perhaps her own children were also abused by somebody in her home. And to deflect from whatever was going on there, she's blaming you for things.
Blaming the victim.
Blaming the victim, exactly.
I want to make a quick shift over here, over to Everett. I want to keep you in the room here, Casey. Um, Everett, I'm going to check in with you now, based
Okay.
on what we've brought up with you, and maybe what you've heard from Skip. What's going on inside of you? What are you feeling right now, Everett?
We were children and they were adults.
Feeling words? What are you feeling, Everett?
Sad,
Give me another feeling. That's good. Give me another feeling.
hurt, but also it keeps cycling back to my own kids. So like shame.
Shame that you've done, that you've passed it on to your kids. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I'm going to bring Casey here in 2 seconds, but I want to say something. The way you're going to heal, part of what it's going to take for you to heal, Everett, is you need to have two bottles, two bottles. And one of those bottles is all the stuff that was done to you. Okay. And
Mhm.
that's inside of you. And the other bottle is all the stuff that you did to your kids. Okay. That you feel that shame for. Okay. On top of the shame from your childhood that you were shamed. You're bad, you're bad, you're bad. And then there's the shame you feel and how bad you feel and the guilt you feel over what you did to your kids. Okay. That guilt of what you did to your kids, I need to heal you first. In your childhood, you need to focus on bottle number one of what was done to you. Bottle number two, every time that shame starts to come up, you have to open up that bottle, number two, That shame over shit that you did to your kids. And you need to put all of that into bottle number 2. Okay? And you can come back to that. We're going to come back to that in your healing process. Okay? You can come back to that. There'll be plenty of time to shame yourself later. And it'll be important to pull that out and look at it and feel it in order to be an even better father to your kids now, or at least to help them heal. Okay? So all of those feelings that you feel about what was done to your kids, what you did to your kids, it's all legit. But we need to silo those two things. We need to separate them. Otherwise, you won't go into the full, you will be disinclined to go into the fullness of what was done to you because it brings up everything that you did to your kids. So every time that stuff that you did to your kids starts to come up, you bring out that second bottle and you stick it in there and you put it over here on the shelf and you decide, you know what? I'm going to come back to that later.
That's exactly what's happening.
You're doing that.
That's exactly what's happening. That's what happens. As soon as I start trying to deal with my own childhood, my brain goes, "What, you did it over here?"
That's right. That's right.
And I get wrapped up in that.
That's right. And you know what? I got a lot of clients, a lot of guys in particular, fathers, who, when we discuss what was done to them, they don't want to go on the attack. And I don't need you to ever confront your living, breathing parent, but we do need to confront the memories and what was done to you in the past. And they feel uncomfortable going in and attacking that stuff in the past because it brings up all the pain of what they've done to their own kids. So we have to separate those two. Might that be something you would be able to do to begin to separate those two? And you can save what you did to your kids. You can save that and come back to that another time after this first one, after we heal you from your own past. Do you think you might be able to separate those two as you go through this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. KC, any questions or thoughts regarding Everett?
I have one question for you. At what age did you get out from under the abuse from your parents? In other words, when did you stop living with them, or what's the situation now?
I joined the military at 18.
Got it.
Eh,
Go ahead.
Please.
I just want to say that you are trying to stop the cycle of abuse, right? You are the
Yes.
person that is finally in your family lineage saying, I am going to get out from under this humongous rock that has been put on my back, this rock of shame and self-hatred that has been put on me by my parents. I'm going to get out of that by self-healing and working on myself. And then I'm going to simultaneously try to help my children heal. So I think I want to say to you to try to look at that. I know I'm not going to say stop trying to shame yourself because that doesn't work, but give yourself a little credit for trying to get out from something that was really severe abuse. I mean, a kid being told on a daily basis that they suck and they're worthless. I mean, I had those feelings and thoughts about myself, and I had parents that told me how beautiful and wonderful I was every day. So I don't imagine how you get out from underneath that and then try to help your children get out from underneath that. So please give yourself a little bit of grace for that, because that is a beautiful thing that you're doing, and it's a strong thing, and it's a brave thing.
Thank you.
How does that feel, Everett?
Enlightening.
Give me a feeling word.
It's just kind of, I want to give myself credit, but it's still heartbreaking.
It is.
And it's something that most people wouldn't survive, and then the fact that you're trying to heal your own children, the fact that you recognize the mistakes you made and you're trying to atone for them now, that is you trying to stop the cycle of abuse, and you might be very successful at it.
And the reason that it still feels like shit is because that's how powerfully embedded that stuff is, pressed into that cement deep in your soul, those messages of you're a worthless piece of shit. That's why that has to be your primary focus, because that cycle of shame that Casey was talking about, it's still raging inside of you. We solve the greater problem of you becoming present, fully present to your kids now. We solve the greater problem of that, or that problem, by going to the greater problem, and that is rooting out, jackhammering all of that cement with a bullshit message, because you were a child, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 9-year-old was fundamentally told explicitly, you are worthless. And your mother confirmed it because she
By
didn't
leaving me
stop.
there.
That's right. By tuning it out. She had all the power to stop it. By not stopping it, that is tacit approval again and again and again. We're going to pause the show right here. We're going to bring this show to an end. This is the end of episode 1. And we're going to draw it to a close, and we're going to invite our listeners to come back for episode 2 next week as we dive further into the story of Everett and being told he's a worthless piece of shit, and his attempt to heal himself so that he can help his own children heal more, but also so that he can finally come out from under the rock and enjoy life. And we're going to come back with Skip, who was sexually abused at age 5 or 6, 2 different times by young boys and by the house cleaner. Devastating story that he's never shared with anyone, even in therapy. We're going to go further into these stories in episode 2. Please tune back in next week. Fellas, we're going to go ahead and take just a 3 or 4 minute break. All right, go ahead and use the restroom. All right, and I'm going to mute the audio and the video on our end. And I'm going to leave the open, leave your thing going, stay in the Zoom room, and come back in about 3 or 4 minutes, and we're going to just dive right in. Okay?
Roger.
All right.
All right.
I feel like we fucked ourselves with me right now.
Hold on. How do I stop the video? Oh, there it is. How's that, Karen?
Well, because number one, I'm not even going to say this again because I know everybody gets mad at me for saying keep the stuff on YouTube, don't take it down. But at this point, the Zoom is our video.
Yeah.
Right? And we just cut my audio off of our video.
I know.
So I should just go downstairs.
No, your audio was on.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't on the Zoom call. That was the note I passed.
That's why he was trying to get us to put that on. Then I put it on and it echoed. And then I was trying to tell you,
Right.
can you mute my microphone or whatever? But so now.
Take your video off right now, Karen. Your video is on right now.
So
There
now
we go.
have
So we need to feed her microphone into Zoom. Right now.
Into Zoom.
But that's what I don't understand. Your microphone goes through the board and into Zoom. Her microphone goes through the board and into Zoom.
So even if it's off, I am showing the
Doesn't
icon.
matter if she's muted on Zoom or not. Her audio is getting into Zoom.
Okay, I didn't know. You're the brains. That's why. Okay.
You were not hearing her?
I was hearing her, but I didn't know if I was. You forgive my simplicity. I didn't know if I was. If I was hearing her through the microphone, or if that's going into here as well.
It's no different than when she's home. The only difference here is she's wanting to watch the video here in the same room. That's all this is
No,
for.
I want it to be on the Zoom.
Right.
video.
So that the Zoom would record her video with her audio.
You could do that from your house too.
No, but all I want to know now
Uh-huh.
is right now, if I post this entire Zoom video
Uh-huh.
on YouTube, let's say,
Yes.
will my audio be there?
Yeah,
Or will I be
because this mic and that mic go through the board and into Zoom.
Okay, so it doesn't matter if her phone says that she is muted. Got it. That's my mistake. That's not.
great episode.
This is not your mistake. This was my mistake. I got worried when I saw the mute button. I got to use a quick bathroom. If you got to go, go quickly. So we told these guys. And we can wait a few extra minutes if need be.
Okay.
Because for me, the Zoom is good enough.
Oh, yeah, and it switches, it
It
switches.
switches whoever
Yeah.
the speaker is.
That's perfect.
So I can just pull
It's got the background. Yeah.
that. I want to get rid of that thing that he
You
got.
don't like the fake background?
Because I don't like the way you guys go in and out of it. But I said to him,
What do you mean?
"Oh, listen to what I have to do.
Okay.
I just have to have a sheet made that says Badass Counseling across the back of it instead of the green screen. Because when you guys, when we're showing the audio of him, you know how the background absorbs the person's body, like her shoulder disappears, or that's happening.
Oh,
It just
yeah.
looks
Oh,
cheesy.
okay. All right.
That's the only problem with that. I mean, it was a perfect solve to get rid of the background. But I was saying to him, I could just order a sheet that says Badass Counseling. It would be the same thing as you hanging that up, right? Or not?
Yeah, I guess so.
The reason that I asked him about the green screen had nothing to do with the podcast. It was so that if he was doing a video, he could put a headline of the New York Times in the back.
This is
whatever.
I understand.
and Skip is slow in letting it out. We know in part because he's never said it before.
Right.
It's hard to read this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm grateful and so forth. It's like you're not sharing your real shit, dude. Grateful may be one thing, but it's just like there's no way you can be sharing the shit for the very first time, and your primary feeling is grateful. So I push. He says, discomfort, uncomfortable, which makes sense.
Mhm.
But it's like this kid is holding back.
Oh, yeah.
His English is perfect. How do you explain that?
Well, I don't know, maybe he moved to Mexico and
I'm going to ask him.
child.
No. His mom is an educator. She's running a school.
But he's associated with kids, and his whole culture is Mexico.
Don't say that because, for example, Lily works in a school in the Dominican Republic. The school speaks all English.
Anyway, not the major point. I'm just running questions through my head.
Yeah. They're all
So
being-
what are you sensing, guys?
being deported.
I think he's super fucking sad and being really brave right now and is traumatized by what happened to him as a kid, which is why he can't remember exactly how he told her what the story was. I mean, can you imagine that happening to you at 5 years old twice?
Yeah.
And maybe it happened more. Maybe this is all he's willing to
Yeah.
admit right now, and that's fine. It's just like he's at the precipice.
Yeah, but if he had two, he would feel. Yeah. Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, I would say go right back into it. I don't need to talk. All right. Just
Okay.
because it just says part 2 now.
All right. Okay. You guys ready?
Yeah.
And you, Casey? Good? Okay. I'm gonna bring up my microphone and my video here. I turn them off. All right.
Did we stick to 50 minutes or no?
No, in an hour and a minute.
Go ahead and make the clock go back up after we hit 0, like you do.
Yeah, I did it last time.
Oh, I missed it. Sorry,
It was
but
up to 10.
okay. So we still kept it under an hour then.
Over here it said UP.
I missed that. So a lot of uhs and ahs and so
Yes.
yeah, a lot will be able to come out. All right.
Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
And also, maybe some of those parts of the section where you're just trying to understand the story.
Just go ahead and song.
We're gonna get started, guys. Here we go.
From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven Erlandson, takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Welcome to the Badass Counseling Show. Wherever you are tuning in from around the world, around the United States, whether it is Europe or Asia, all across the United States, Canada, thank you so much for tuning in. We love having our listeners. Thank you for joining us. As you might know, this is episode 2 of a show that started last week, a show with Skip and Everett. And before we get into that, I just want to greet my team who are both in studio and chatting today. I've got both KC and Rob the Rocket. What say ye?
I'm just looking forward to seeing how you synthesize all this information and these very deep feelings for these two guys, Sven.
KC, how are you doing?
I started out the entire last show just crying immediately. As soon as Skip started speaking, I was crying.
And
Really,
then
really moved by both of their stories.
and we thought we might get a bit of a reprieve. Everett goes into talking about how he was called a worthless piece of shit every single day of his life.
And then I started crying again.
Right. It's all right. Happens to Rob and me quite regularly. So that's quite all right. And I know you've cried in the booth many, many times. And so this is uh, par for the course, how we do our job here to the degree that we can help folks. So, basics for our listeners. If you are only tuning into episode 2 here, continuing from last week, or if you heard all of last week, Skip, as you'll recall, was sexually molested as a 5 or 6-year-old boy by a couple of other boys. And then several months later, a month later, he was publicly shamed at a gathering by the mother of one of those boys, and his mother was not at the gathering. And his mother then found out through the grapevine and got him into therapy. Several months after that, we discover he shares with us that the cleaning lady who stayed in their home sexually molested him as well. Skip did not tell his mother, feeling deep shame, complete disorientation. He shut down after the first one, and he never talked about any of this. Even with the therapist he was going to and so forth, he became silent and hasn't discussed this either for the most part or completely until right now in episode 1. And then Everett, who has 2 children who are 30 and 19. Everett is 57. Everett still sees himself as worthless, 70% worthless. And he believes that he has passed this on to his own kids and that they see themselves as worthless. And he feels profound shame and guilt over that. And he parented his children. He did not give them a safe place, a lot of anger. He came from a place of no self-worth. He was extremely strict, carried a lot of anger, and he did not hit his kids like he was hit, but he believes he passed on that sense of worthlessness to them because he did not provide that warmth and safety. So we've got 2 men, Skip 31, Everett 57, 2 men who feel profound amount of shame for their childhood, and it still carries with them today. Everett, I'd like to start with you, if we could. What right now is the relationship between you and your children, roughly?
Well, my oldest would be polite, casual. There's no tension when we're around each other. Um, I think my oldest is struggling because I did the journaling. You say don't send the letters, right?
Mhm.
So I did this whole journaling about how I was a father to them. All the horrible anger, put it all out there. And I told them as in the letter, I said the sucky part about it is this, if I could erase it all, I would change it, but I can't. So I'm hoping this will help. Maybe you'll do the work. You're going to have to do the work. Um, I let them know that they weren't worthless and that they were enough just being who they were.
In the letters or in real life, you let them know that?
No, so I wrote the letter and then I sent it to both of them.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes, you said don't
Sure.
send it, but that one I did.
Great.
Um,
Great.
my oldest didn't respond. Our conversations, I don't feel like there's tension there, but I feel like um, right now, with what I'm trying to work through and do, I feel like there's a huge, big confusion with that one. And possibly like, I'm not forgiving you. And that's fine. You don't have to forgive me. Just as long as I can put you in a position to see what I see and you can start healing. My youngest, Since forward sent that letter, the tension between us is just this kind of disappeared. Everything got really light. Um, the youngest seeks me out now to have conversations. I think that's a good sign, but also worry that maybe that one is got stuff bottled because I feel like my youngest saw the oldest and the strictness and the rules and the punishments that came down on that one. So my youngest decided to be, well, I'm going to be the perfect perfectionist, follow all the rules because that shit can't happen to me.
Right.
And I feel like, and I've recognized that one with that, and I'm saying, hey, you don't have to be perfect. I've tried to start that. So since I sent that letter to that one, things kind of lightened up a little bit between the two of us.
Okay.
The oldest one I feel like is I don't like the idea that I'm sorry, the youngest might be bottling stuff up. I don't like that.
Right.
I feel like the oldest one is going to be the struggle with recognizing I was the issue and that one
Right.
they're going to have to heal. They're going to
Right.
have to figure out a way to heal.
They both are. And with ones who are, your kids are 30 and 19, the oldest is 30, youngest 19, obviously.
Right.
With somebody as young as 19, their inclination is, it's no big deal. I got it. Oh, it's okay, dad, or
Yes.
whatever. They're less likely to allow the feelings up. A 30-year-old is still unlikely, but they are moving towards that age where it can't be kept down anymore. And clearly, your older one feels that anger, and that is represented in the polite, casual, and not forgiving, and so forth. Quick question: if you could choose having your child healed, but you have no relationship with them, or having a relationship with your child, but they're not healed from what you've done, which would you choose?
I would choose that they heal. I
Right.
saw one of your little video snippets on TikTok that said that I would actually choose that they at least healed.
Right. Okay. So you may never be forgiven. You
Exactly.
may never have a relationship of any sort. And the fact that you do, it's a blessing. All right.
Yes.
And I know you know that. So the goal with regard to them is what is you forever being cognizant of the fact that I have wounded them. What can I do for them? You, with regard to you, is bringing up the stuff because you do have control over what you bring up from your past. Okay. Um, Out of curiosity, when did you send those letters or the letter to each of your kids?
Ooh,
How long ago?
maybe 3 weeks ago.
2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so this is new. Okay.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was doing the journaling with the whole self worth. I was doing that homework thing, and then all of a sudden, it was like a real. I call them realizations. It hit me. I was like, "Holy shit! What did you do?"
Right.
And I started seeing, thinking about their behaviors and their actions, and I was like, "Holy crap! I've done the exact same thing."
Okay. You need
So
to.
I laid out that journaling. And I sent it to them.
All right. That's a wonderful start. And generally, it's the sending of the letters to people we're still wanting something from, like a
Yes,
parent, something like that. That's where it's optional. I'm not saying you shouldn't at all. I'm just saying if the goal is healing, you don't have to send it. But with your own children, they need to hear that. And once isn't going to be enough. And this is going to be an ongoing thing because right now to them it could be like, yeah, who fucking cares? Oh, man, fuck you.
I'm full
I'll
of shit.
believe it when I
Yeah,
see it. Yeah. Right.
yeah, you're full of shit. You ain't changed. Why do you
You've
think
got a
I'm going to be able to change
30-year
now?
pattern. You have a
Yeah.
30-year pattern of behavior with your oldest. It's not going to be changed in one off or even 1 year. Okay. So I personally, because of the actions of my ex-wife, I unfortunately got alienated from my kids while we were still married. And then after the divorce, and it lasted a good 20 years, 15 for sure. But in their 20s and now, especially in their 30s, we're quite close. But it's taken years of rebuilding, years of no conversation about this stuff. And then out of the blue, there'll be a
My young
conversation.
sideways.
There'll be something small, and it'll relate, and so on and so forth. You've got to take the long term approach. And if I'm being totally honest with you, when our divorce happened in 1996, I said, and my kids were 6 and 3. I said to myself, I know that I have to wait at least until they're 35. Because around 35 is usually roughly 35, 40 is when we make a different transition. Something happens in us in those ages. It's not just we begin to see as adults, it's just something we want to find out who we really are, what the real truths are. And I knew if I could last till 35, them being 35, which would be fundamentally 30 more years, that it's not even that I get to tell my story. It's that they would finally begin to just see life differently. And sure enough, it became true actually about 15 years later. But the point is, you need to take the long approach because if you're
See, that's
wanting,
my biggest fear.
what's that?
Sorry. Sorry. My biggest fear is I'm 57 and 35 sounds like, okay, I'm 57. I don't know that I got that much time left. So I wouldn't
Until, so
think
what do you fear happening in one sentence? If you say that's your biggest fear, what do you fear happening?
when it comes to my oldest that I would die, and
And what?
that one hasn't at least started to at least look at trying to heal.
So you wouldn't get to see them healed.
Yes.
Is that the
Yes,
biggest
that's
fear, or
right.
is the biggest fear that I won't get to connect with the child? Because if the child heals, who gives a fuck? I mean, yes, it'd be nice
You're
if they
right.
started healing this year or next year, obviously. But if there was a good shot of your children healing even after you die, it's good, isn't it? So it's
Yes.
almost as
Yes.
though you saying, my biggest fear is me dying. If you're being really honest, is the biggest is what you're. Let
The
me ask you,
connection.
right, the disconnection. So let me ask you this: how much is what you are really wanting is them to forgive you, to relieve you of the shame and the guilt that you need that from them. Is that what's going on inside of you? Be honest.
I I didn't think I did because I'd say it can work if I don't, but honestly, now that you're asking that, no, yeah, I'm looking for some sort of forgiveness sign.
Right. So you're wanting forgiveness from them, and on the other end, what you're wanting from mom and dad, especially dad, well, especially mom, I mean, especially both, is one of
Well,
them.
my dad's passed. My
Dad's
mom's
dead, right?
so
Mom to come to you and say, "You were a good kid. I'm so sorry for what the fuck I did." Can you imagine if your mom came to you and did what, even just once, what you did for your kids in that letter? What would that feel like? And maybe it'd feel like, fuck you, bitch. Where were you, 50 years ago? Whatever. What would that feel like? And feeling word,
relief.
relief. And what would be the biggest thing that when we think of relief, plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is. You're being relieved of indigestion. If I set down a giant rock, I'm being relieved of that weight. What would you be relieved of if mom did that?
That they actually cared, that they actually loved me.
But that's not what you'd be relieved of. That's something beautiful you'd be taking
Oh,
on. What would
right.
you be relieved of? What would be the burden you would no longer be carrying?
I wouldn't be worthless.
Right. So you believe that you need mom, and only mom has this power. Mom has the golden key to the jail cell that you are locked in. And that jail cell, every bar on that jail cell has etched in it, you're worthless. You're a piece of shit. You're not lovable the way you are. Who you really are doesn't matter. And she and only she has the key for you to be free. You need that. Otherwise, you've basically said, I'll continue to believe I am worthless.
You know what? That's got me thinking because I started a trend when I started this self work 5 years ago. I started a trend sending my parent a good morning positive
Uh huh. How did it go?
message
And,
every morning,
and
and it led up to being, "You're a great son. You're such a blessing to me." But thinking about it now, honestly, when I read those, it doesn't really mean much.
isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
Because
I'm still looking because I feel I am. I still feel worthless even though.
Right. And so let me ask you this then, and then we're going to shift over to Skip here in a second. What do you think the biggest feeling is? If there's the big one, what do you think the biggest feeling is that you still have not touched inside you regarding mom and dad? You've touched probably many of those feelings if you've been doing this healing work for 5 years and you've been reading my book, especially Taking You Deep. What do you think is the one feeling that you've avoided?
Anger,
Hmm.
being mad about it, but it hurt. But the thing about it is, I learned through some of this that anger is usually a cover for a hurt or a pain. So,
It is, but
and
the anger's got to
I
come out
spent a
too.
lot of years.
Go ahead.
I spent a lot of years carrying anger, especially towards my own immediate
Of
family. That
course. And you're
I don't want to carry that no more. So I
well, then
try
you
to
got to
work
get
through
it
it.
out, motherfucker. Then you got to get it out. You can just say, I don't want to do it, or I'm not going to give them that, or, that's a waste of my time, or whatever, until it's actually out of you. So you said mom committed the greater
So
crime. What percent,
yeah,
if you were to be honest, let's take the extreme. Let's take anger to the extreme. What percent do you hate your mother for not protecting you when she had 4 times as much power as your father? And she would walk away. Her son was being fucking verbally attacked, abused, and physically abused, you said. And she turned her back on you. What percent do you hate your mother?
I have to say 100%.
And in one
I've been delusioning myself.
Yeah, you have, brother, and that's all right. You've been had to protect yourself from feeling it all because that fundamentally means, I mean, if she has the power to stop it and it's happening repeatedly, day after day after day after day for years, and the physical beatings, and she has the power to stop it and chooses not to, that's right up there. That fits under the heading of monster. Dad's a
That's
monster too.
exactly right.
I'm not disputing that. So that says mom and dad weren't good parents. You can't say, oh, they did their best. It's fucking bullshit. She had the power to stop it.
Well, I did say that internally, kind of go through. Well, they had a bad childhood too.
They
It was
treated
horrible.
your
So you,
your dad treated your sister better. They didn't do their best.
you're
Sorry.
right. You're right.
Is there any definition? Why did you choose to not beat your kids? One sentence or less. Why did you choose to not beat them?
Because I got beat.
Ah, so you are conceding that what they did there was bad.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, and is it love to beat a child?
No.
Is it love to call a child a worthless piece of shit and to constantly criticize them and to be and so forth? Is that love?
No.
Ah, what percent did you feel loved as a child?
0.
Ah, so we know your parents were not good parents. We know your parents did not love you. That love was not being conveyed. And what's fascinating is the child believes mom and dad are good. Mom and dad love me. No, they didn't. And no, they weren't. The child believes I'm at fault. I'm to blame. And they made sure you thought that. They both did. But it was
Why is that?
why, what? Why did they do that?
Why does the child always look at the parent still?
The child needs to believe it. They need to believe they are loved. Otherwise, the world becomes giant. They feel so small and so alone. That little boy that you were felt so tiny and so afraid, and no fucking person on earth was protecting him. No goddamn person was fucking protecting that little boy, either you, Everett, or Skip. No one was protecting you guys. You had to believe that they loved you. You had to believe that they were good. You needed to believe in something.
You sure the hell couldn't believe in yourself.
No, they couldn't. They didn't let you. They wanted to make sure you didn't.
Yeah.
Right. And so that little boy believed he was the problem. They told him, you're to blame. You're the problem. Something's wrong with you. Let me ask you a point blank question, Everett, and I want a yes or no. considering all the shame that you have felt, considering how horrible you felt about yourself, listen closely. Was Skip at 5 years old inherently an unlovable little boy? Was he a bad boy who was unlovable and bad and worthless? Was Skip worthless and unlovable intrinsically?
No.
Oh, but you were. So Skip didn't deserve to feel shame, didn't deserve to feel like a piece of shit. He was a good little boy. But no, you deserved it. Mom and dad must have been right. Is that what you're trying to tell me now? So the second question is, was the little
No, yeah.
boy named Everett worthless? Was he intrinsically, innately, inherently unlovable? Because,
No.
okay, right.
I rationalized everything by looking at it as if I just followed the rules, if I just stayed invisible,
Well,
if I
that's what
just
the little boy does. He uses and he thinks that way. If I then they'll love me, then they'll be nice to me, then right. But now looking back, it didn't fucking matter what you did.
no, didn't.
You were fucked. They didn't love you. By their actions, they sure as fuck didn't love you. And they always say, oh, actions speak louder than words. Right. Well, it's true.
Yeah.
Their actions didn't say love. They certainly weren't. That's not good parenting. Oh, they put food on your back, food on the table, clothes on your back, and a roof over your head. No, they didn't. They put the roof over your head and food on the table for themselves. You just happened to fucking be there. They
Be
hated
there.
you. Okay. Skip, what should your mother have done? What do you wish your mother had done? What do you wish your
Punch
mother had
that
done?
lady right in the face.
What's that?
To punch that lady in the face.
But she wasn't there, so she should have gone to her later and punched her in the face.
Oh yeah, beat her. Yeah, like just like
And
I don't know for that kid, maybe for that child at that moment, seeing that would be healing
do you,
for me now.
of course,
Yeah,
what sort of messages did you get from your mother? Do you recall after the
barely
boys abused you and after the woman abused you?
I barely recall it because she didn't directly speak about it to me, but she helped me to get around it somehow with therapy and stuff like that. Remember, I mean, again, she was a teacher, a director of the school, and she studied psychology, and she had a notion of how to um, treat this kind of situation. Um, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't being very helpful either. I mean,
Well, wait a minute. No, 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 no. I'm sorry. You don't get to blame a 5-year-old kid for not being very helpful.
oh yeah,
That's not your job to fucking explain it to the fucking adults. It's their job to help a little boy find his words and to find healing, et cetera, et cetera. You said your mom had a background in education and in psychology and so forth. And we're going to dive a little further into your story when we come right back from this.
You've heard Sven talk a lot about his book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup. And that's because Sven hears from his followers a lot about how much the book has helped them. If you're not sure how to handle the issues getting in the way of a better life, you're not alone. And you have a lot of choices. But thousands of readers will tell you that this is a great place to start by yourself and at your own pace. So go to BadassCounseling.com and order There's a Hole in My Love Cup, and you'll have Sven right there with you as you forge your best future. It's totally badass. So get started today.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
And we are back with Skip and Everett. Skip, what do you wish? No, I don't even want to ask that. What I want to ask is this. Um, I asked the question of Everett a bit ago, what percent he felt loved growing up. I'm going to ask you now, what percent did you feel loved growing up? If you're to be totally honest.
By my mother, 80%.
Okay. And when you say 80%, just one sentence or less, why 80%? Why not 65? Why not 92? Why 80%?
All just in terms of economics, 80-20% is the majority. But
Okay, then, okay, no, that's a good start. Then let me ask you this, pause, close your eyes, please. Close your eyes right now. Now, actually, don't think about economics, don't think about anything. Just feel the answer, feel your childhood. What percent did you feel loved by your mother?
it's high up.
What number?
80. I'd
Okay,
say 80.
80 is fine. That's fine. Okay. And what accounts for the 20% that you didn't feel loved by your mother?
Moments that she wasn't there. She worked a lot,
Okay.
so different issues that might come up.
And what percent of your childhood, I mean, your mom ran a school, busy woman, single mom, raising a child. What percent of your childhood was mom not there?
Like 60-70%.
60 to 70% of your childhood, she was not there. And so that means 60 or 70% that she was not there. Were you alone? Or
Uh,
did
I
you
was
go to your
accompanied.
auntie's house or what?
No, we lived in a closed neighborhood,
Hmm.
so I just go out and play with the other kids.
Okay. And what would you say were the top three um, feelings you felt as a child that dominated sort of your childhood?
Top three feelings.
Or even one? Was it the shame or was it something else?
I'd say I was an angry boy, even at a very young age. I remember I was 3 years old, and I already recognized the difference between Americans and Mexicans, and the dispute that they have or whatever. So I mean, I was pretty aware of and I was aware of my parents' divorce as well. So I guess not not growing up with my dad and seeing other kids as well. I don't know. I mean, I was pretty confused. I was angry, confused,
Okay. And
and
so you said you were an angry kid even as early as 3 years old, which would have been years before you were sexually abused by the boys and then by the cleaning lady. Why, if you were to sum it up, why do you think you were angry at 3 years old? Anger is generally a response to pain. Oh, you laughed. So I want to hear the answer to this. Go ahead. Why were you angry at 3 years old?
I guess I was just I could realize the pain my mother was having due to the divorce or stuff like that, and how that related to my life. So
But what was the impact on the boy? Feelings that we have, feelings are a natural response to a stimulus. What were you so angry about? And what was the hurt underneath the anger that you were so angry about? Or one of the things I talk about in the book is children shout loudest when feeling heard least. That anger, that acting out, which naturally comes with anger, that was
mhm.
in a response to something that you weren't. Is it possible you weren't feeling heard, weren't getting enough attention, didn't feel seen, didn't feel loved? What the hell was going on with that boy that even by 3 years old, some need isn't being met and he's angry? Or what is being modeled in your home such that you are defaulting to so much anger?
I guess it was the father figure. Um,
But dad's gone.
I know.
So why were
So
you angry?
he would come like to the house once a year or so. So I knew he existed, but so yeah,
So
I guess it's abandonment or some feeling like that. That made me feel angry as a child.
you believe that it's the abandonment of the father, and yet you also said and yet you said your mom was gone 60 to 70% of the time. Couldn't it be argued you were abandoned by your mother? She was there, but absent.
Absent, yeah. I mean, obviously not the same as my dad, but
Well, let me ask you then, and this is a question only you can answer. Which was worse for you?
oh, my dad,
Why?
because when he visited once a year, he just visit for one day
Uh-huh.
and then leave.
So then you would
So
be angry an entire year at dad.
confused, angry, yeah.
Confused, angry? Sure. But mom's right there. Did you feel like did you feel like you wanted more of mom? Like your needs for attention and affection from mom were being met?
Uh, Probably not.
No, I'm asking you what you felt.
Oh,
Did
no,
you, no?
no.
I'm going to ask you a strange question. In your work that you've been doing on yourself, which I applaud you for, Skip, I do. In your work that you've been doing on uh, yourself, what percent might you be protecting your mother from the truth? Protecting yourself, not wanting to look at the truth because you feel an obligation to protect her, or she was there, so I should give her the benefit of the doubt, or stuff like that. What percent are you or have you been protecting your mother?
At first, 100%, and after the book, 50.
Okay. At first 100%, and after the book 50. And what was the biggest thing that in the book that caused you to stop protecting her so much? What was the big realization? Because you cut it in half. What led to you cutting that in half or not feeling that need or the desire to protect her so much?
It was what you explained in there's a love on my love cup. What you explain is that we as children, we shouldn't protect our parents in a way that is actually detrimental to us.
So you're still protecting her 50%, and it's okay. I get this with every single one of my clients, all right? It's okay. So no judgment. But let me ask you this. What do you think in your own work with yourself is the single biggest way that you still protect your mother? As you're doing your own self work, or even as we're talking here, what do you think the biggest way is that you still protect your mother or protect yourself from seeing the truth about your mother?
Because I know about a little bit about her life, what happened to her.
Ah,
So
and so
you,
you know about her life.
yeah, she
And
was
so
young.
that becomes you protect her by I'm going to put it out there. You tweak it, okay? Throw it out the window if you want to, if it doesn't connect. But basically, because I know about her life and her past, I go easy on her, and I don't look at or want to acknowledge or go into my full feelings about how I really feel about how the fuck she parented me because I know she had it hard.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So what you just said then, you just admitted that there's more there. There's more truth there, and there are more feelings there. But I'm not going to look at those. I'm not going to give those full acknowledgement. I'm not going to go into my full feelings because I kind of, mom had it rough. So you're letting her off the hook. So you're not denying the crime committed. You're not denying that she did bad things or let you down, or that you have strong feelings against her. You're just saying, I have them, but I'm not going to look at them. I'm not going to allow myself to feel all of it. I don't want to bring it all up because, hey, look how hard she had it. So I'm going to sort of let it off. I'm going to let her off the hook by me ignoring or denying the truth, the entirety of the truths and how I really feel about it.
Yeah, because she's the only parent that actually loves me. So
Right. But can I ask you this? Do you have any children of your own?
no, I don't.
Okay. Have you ever dated?
Yes,
Okay. Have you ever had an argument with somebody that you loved, like dating?
yes,
You have.
yes.
Okay. In that time when you're arguing with them and you feel anger towards them and maybe you want to wring their neck or something like that, um, Did you stop loving them, or did the love still exist in you, but in this moment I'm feeling angry? In other words, do you believe in mixed feelings? It's possible to have mixed feelings towards a person or in
Yeah.
in a event.
Yes.
Of course. Okay. So you loving your mom and you being understanding of your mom's past can still exist while you be angry at your mom for what she did, you being disappointed in your mom. But what you're saying is, I'm not going to look at all the anger. I don't want to feel all the anger and disappointment because I love her so much and I want to protect her. But that doesn't help you heal. To heal means to look at both, to feel all of it, not just both, even all of the feelings. But you're saying, I'm not going to really look at all the truths. I'm not going to really feel everything because, hey, mom had it rough. Does this make sense what I'm saying?
Yes. And I just have to say, it's not what she did. It's probably the things that she didn't.
And what
For
was the
example,
single biggest thing that mom didn't do?
uh, like um, in the same way that this lady publicly shamed me, maybe doing the same, not the shaming part, but defending me in front of other people, you know, in front to this lady. I mean,
Right. She didn't defend you, whether publicly or privately, to this lady. She didn't defend you.
yeah,
To
yeah,
def-
yeah, yeah.
and so in the case of Everett, if Everett's mom had defended him, gotten in front of his father, if Everett's mom had said, "You back the fuck down, you asshole," she had the power. And time again, she didn't. But if she had stood up for him and defended him, she would have been protecting him, right? She would have been protecting Everett, right? So you're fundamentally saying mom's biggest crime is that she didn't protect me. She didn't defend me. She didn't protect me.
Or at least I didn't see it when I was a kid.
And you didn't feel it, obviously.
Exactly. But now as an
So
adult, you have, yeah.
go ahead. Now, as an adult,
Now as an adult, I mean, and after reading your book,
finish that
you
sentence.
actually,
Now, as an adult, what?
well, yeah. Now as an adult, I can realize the different complexities that were in play.
Meaning
And
what? What does that mean with regard to your mom in this situation? She didn't defend you. How does that relate to this? Now, as an adult, what?
just the timing of things, right? So she wasn't at the house when that happened. It wasn't like in the immediate moment that she defended me,
Right.
but you
But,
know,
but what?
later she sought out for my help, um, getting specialists and stuff like that. So now
And
as an adult,
yet, okay. And so you see all those things as an adult. And what we do as an adult oftentimes is that's called rationalizing. And we say, well, I understand this and I understand this and this and this. And so it makes sense. But that doesn't make the feelings of the child go away.
absolutely,
That's you as an adult fundamentally diminishing, saying, "Hey, sorry, kid, that doesn't make sense." The child inside of you are saying to that child, "Child, I know you have all these feelings of feeling abandoned, feeling alone, feeling unprotected, feeling mom didn't give a fuck." You had feelings as a child, and they're still in you. And the adult you, 30-year-old you, 31-year-old you is coming along and saying, "Hey, kid, you're going to have to stuff those away, okay? Like you've been doing." Except now it's not somebody else saying it. Now it's you saying it. And you're saying, "Stuff that shit down, kid, because, hey, mom, look how hard mom worked. Mom had it hard." And the little boy is saying, "But I'm angry and I'm sad." No, both things can be true. Sure, mom had blah, 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 blah. And you can allow all of that fucking rage, all of that disappointment, all of that feeling of betrayal, all of that sorrow to come out at mom. You don't ever have to confront the living, breathing mom. But how about just the pretend mom? How about you just write her some real fucking letters and not protect her? It's not your job to protect your mother. You are the child. It is the mother's job, the father's job to protect the child. And she didn't. And that little child inside of you is still hurting and angry and full of sorrow and full of fear. And all that needs to come out. And I'm going to ask you one more question. Then I want to bring KC in here and Rob, if you'd like. Um, And that's this. You said you felt 80% loved as a child and 20% presumably unloved. 80% loved. Yet you went on to tell me that prior to starting your self work, you had been protecting your mom 100%, and now you only protect her 50%. So is it possible that 50% that you are protecting your mom now is affecting that number that you're saying that you were loved by your mom? Is it possible that number that that little boy, not adult you, who understands mom, but little boy you, is it possible that little boy you felt far less loved, but big boy you, 31, man you, says, hey, we're protecting mom now, all right? She did her best. She had a rough childhood. She was treated like shit. Stuff those feelings down. Is it possible that that number of you saying mom loved you 80% is still you protecting her from the truth?
Absolutely.
So
Ma-
if we were to take another swing at that number, you don't have to. You can keep the same number. Hell, you can bump that number up to 100%. You can do whatever the fuck you want. This is your show for this moment. Let me ask you, what if we were to go now honestly without knowing you don't you can go back to protecting your mom in a minute. You honestly can. But for this moment, if we just allowed the truths to come up and allowed the feelings to be, what, and close your eyes again, what percent did that boy feel loved by his mother?
I'd say 40.
What are you feeling right now?
The discomfort of realization. That's what I'm feeling.
And what's the biggest realization that you've had right now? Or if you were to sum it up, what are you realizing?
That the section that I wrote about my mom in the journaling is bullshit.
Right. Okay. Now, I need to remind you, you don't ever have to confront your mother. You don't ever have to change your relationship with your living, breathing mother. You don't. Nothing has to change. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But if you're going to have to heal, you have to get motherfucking honest with yourself, because otherwise you're protecting everyone else, whether it's the abusers themselves or people who didn't do enough or whatever. You're not protecting the victim. So if you're not going to protect little boy Skip, then who is? So you can still have whatever relationship with your mom that you want. I don't give a fuck. That's not the point. The point is, are you going to give that little boy the voice? Because he's coming to you and saying, you're a man. I was just a little boy. Please let my feelings out. And you set him free by doing that. You set him free of that jail, but he introduces you to your authentic self for the first time in your motherfucking miserable life. He introduces you to yourself because he shows you what you were really feeling but weren't allowed to feel. And I have to believe that a single mom raising a child, and to the degree that I raised my children, even as a divorced parent, that the child is always wanting the parent to be happy, doesn't want to put their own burdens on the parent, and so on and so forth. And so you thought, well, I'll just keep my feelings out. My feelings don't matter. I just, and you may have even gotten a message, hey, don't be a problem. Just we got to just move forward. And mom's got work and so on and so forth. I'm sure she's a wonderful woman. That's not the point. But the point is, it's like, let's move forward. And so you likely have kept those feelings down. And now that little 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 9-year-old, 12-year-old is wanting to let his feelings out. And you have the opportunity. And that's how we heal, by being fucking authentic and looking at the truth. When you go into your self work, you don't have to protect anyone except that little boy. KC, I want to bring you in here.
I mean, I love the way that Sven just put that. And in my own work, Sven knows I went through this with my mother, who, if you asked me what percent did I love her or think she was a good mother, it was 100%. And it took me years to realize the things that my parents did to me that damaged me and were affecting my relationships with other people, until I was able to realize that I could simultaneously, like Sven said, love my mother, but be able to look at the shit that she put on me and did to me. And for a year or two, I hated my mother. And I got all that stuff out, and I looked at the ugly stuff, and I protected the child that was me. And then I was able to come back to a place of fully loving my mother. or not.
Mhm.
You know, it's just about allowing your feelings to be your feelings, not protecting other people in them. Just looking at your own stuff. Just closing thoughts for you. Fuck your father who abandoned you. Like, that really pisses me off. You're a beautiful young man, and just fuck him. You are so brave. You did nothing wrong, nothing for you to be ashamed of. Your bravery is going to help other people that have both been sexually abused, abandoned, and are thinking about suicide. This is going to help so many people, and I hope mostly that it's helped you. Um, and you are doing the work, and you are doing a beautiful job with the work, and I hope you continue it.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
And Everett, what's going on inside of you right now, Everett? What are you feeling?
Right now, uh, a little bit enlightened. You were talking about, because I do love my mom, but how do I do the little kid of being completely fucking pissed off at her? And when you said you can do both, I was like, I didn't realize I could do that. So that's where I'm at with that. I was like, okay, I got a lot of writing to do.
Huh. And
I'm
so,
trying to.
go
So
ahead.
my mind wants to go ahead and transfer that over to my own kids.
Mm-hmm. In what way?
How I can start writing. You can love your parent if you want, at least.
Everett, are you there? I think we might have lost you there on the feed. Everett? Yeah, Skip, we've got you. Everett, I'm going to come back to Everett when we get his feed going here again. He may have to come out and then come back in. Skip, what are you feeling? Give me a feeling word, Skip.
I'm still
Oh,
feeling discomfort. Oh, there he is.
Oh, no, I'm going to
yeah,
get you in a second. Hold on, Everett. We moved on after we lost you. I'm going to come right back to you. Skip, what are you feeling?
sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Skip?
It's just this overwhelming discomfort of the realization about my relationship with my mother. Um, how much time I've been bullshitting myself about this balance that needs to be seen, which is the rationalization of the adult,
Mhm.
and in the other hand, the child that did not understand what the fuck was going on.
Right.
So, so thank you, Sven.
Yeah,
Thank
and just so you know, Skip, I guarantee you, as a matter of absolute fact, if Everett could go back to 31, what you are now, and heal his shit, he'd do it in 2 fucking seconds flat. He is so fucking jealous of you right now. And he probably wasn't thinking it, but now he is. It's like, fuck, man, this kid, and sorry, you're not a child, but when you get to be 57, his age, almost 59, my age, 31's a kid, in a beautiful way. You're a young man. But Everett's thinking, fuck, man, this kid's awesome. I wish I could have done that. I wish I would have thought. And you are so far ahead of the curve, Skip. You really are. Everett, am I correct?
Yes, exactly.
Would,
You're
would
exactly right. If I could go back 5 years, I would do it.
exactly.
Much less.
Much less, yeah, fucking 26 years, right? Right.
Yeah, right.
But you need to understand what you just said, Skip. You said, I feel overwhelming discomfort. Okay. This is the moment in your self work, or now in your conversations with me, in your self work, this moment when that overwhelming discomfort comes up, this is when people quit. This is when people quit therapy. This is when people shut down even when they're in therapy. This is when people quit their self work. This is when people quit becoming. The benefit you have, Skip, of being in this session with Everett is you're seeing a guy 26 years older than you not quitting. He's saying this is so fuck, and he's got double the pain just in terms of timeline. I'm not saying sexual abuse versus what he went through. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's got it, the pain from his past and the pain from his future that is his kids attacking him from both sides. And I'm not saying his is worse than yours, whatever. I'm just saying double the direction is what I should have said. And he's not backing down. He knows that he's wrought a lot of damage, but he also knows, and he better fucking know, that he's endured so much damage. And both of those can be undone. Okay. But here's the thing, he's not backing down, even though he's overwhelmed. And that's one of the things that kind of comes with experiencing that pain long enough at 57, it's just like, I can't back down from this now. I can't anymore. So you have a decision to make, Skip, every day. Do I go further in? Do I keep pressing myself to look at and feel the ugly truths, even when it comes to my sacred mother? Or even when it comes to maybe deep down you do love your father, and that needs to come up too. You can be abundantly angry at the motherfucker, and you can still have love. Doesn't mean you ever have to act on it. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But it's welcoming up all of it to say, I'm an adult. For the first time in my life, I want to see all of the truth. I want to feel all of the truth. That's what it means to flush it out. So, Everett, you were saying, I was asking you what you feel, and you were saying uh, enlightenment and so forth, and we got cut off there. Following up,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I got a lot of writing to do, so seeing that I could do the writing of being angry and getting the kid part out, protecting the child, and still keep the relationship with the parent, and figuring out how to. My mind wants to go through. Well, how do I relay that to my own kids?
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Um,
go ahead.
I understand doing the bottle, but no matter how much I try to do the bottle, I'm trying to focus right now just me. But my mind still goes to that. I want them to know that they can heal from it.
Sure, sure. And the truth is, you can flush out the stuff that's in that bottle that we talked about in episode 1 of all the shame and anger at yourself and sadness over how you raise your kids. And what I talked about in episode 1 is how when we bring up anger or sadness regarding our own parents, our own shame over how we raised our own kids, that can get in the way. And it hurts too
Mhm.
much to think of how much I hurt them. So we back away from attacking the parents, the parents of our past, not the real life parents, but attacking the parents and being mad and feeling the sadness and all of that. We back away because it hurts so much to think that I did it to my kids. And so if you want, you can also let out that second bottle, bottle of all the things you feel you did to your kids and all the shame and all the anger, and just journal that out and write letters you don't send. You don't have to send every thought. You don't have to send every feeling. And the truth is, because at some point you don't want to overwhelm them too soon. All right, this is very fresh. And so that's why you can be flushing out for your own self while going into allowing all those feelings to come up and out of you. KC, thoughts for Everett, regarding Everett, questions regarding Everett?
I hope that you will really focus on doing your own work because there are some tough conversations coming up with your kids. Um, your older one has only received this letter 3 weeks ago, so give him time to digest it, give him time to feel it, and figure out how he wants to respond if he responds. But I know, like with me, with my own kids, um, when they were ready to unload on me, I had to be ready to receive that and not be triggered and not get defensive. And that was only after years of working on myself and realizing this. So, life is long. You're playing the long game right now with your kids, and you're doing the work yourself, and you have realizations about what's happened with them. Give yourself grace. Um, and then just for both of you, um, you're just both so brave. Like, we don't see the people that you see. We see two really abused people as kids
Yeah.
that are doing work and that are kind human beings. And I just love you both so much. I really do. Your story has touched me, and I know it's going to touch a lot of other people. And please keep living, Skip. Don't do anything to yourself because you're a beautiful man and a brave man and a kind man, and we want to see you both keep thriving and moving forward.
And Everett, I just also, to piggyback, I like what she said to Skip there, and to piggyback, the fact that you're 57 and doing this shit. You and I come from a different generation in our late
Yeah.
50s, right? Guys didn't do this shit. Guys don't do this shit now.
Nope.
So that you're doing this shit now, and I know KC had it written in her notes to say this too to you, and that is doing this at your fucking generation, dude. Come on, that's impressive. Okay, Skip. One question: how old is your mom?
She is 57, 58.
Okay, isn't it interesting? We have a 57-year-old man here in this episode, these episodes, and who has a 30-year-old son in real life and a 19-year-old daughter in real life, I believe. And
Yeah,
here,
reverse that.
30-year-old daughter, 19-year-old son.
Yes.
And then we have a 31-year-old man here who in real life has a 57-year-old mom. Now, I am telling all of our listeners, my producers did not plan this. None of us planned this. But you got to admit, it's pretty fucking interesting. So I have a question for each of you, but it's going to be slightly different. Everett, you've heard Skip's story right along with us. You've heard me talking with Skip as you've been processing, going through your own shit in the middle of it.
Mhm.
But I want to ask you, what do you, if anything, what do you most want to say to Skip?
I'm proud of him. Takes a lot of courage for him to openly come out and talk. I don't really know him, but I just met him here. But I love him. I think he's a really great human being. And I'm sorry he went through what he went through.
Thank you, Everett. Skip, you don't have to say a thing, but what do you want to say? You don't have to say it in response to Everett and what he said. You can, but that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, and what you have heard Everett's story. Father calling him a worthless piece of shit, standing in the doorway, the hollering and the yelling. And you've heard the story of his mom just walking out, mom having all the power and not stopping it. You've heard the story about how the guilt that he feels over how he raised his children and being extremely strict and having a lot of anger and hollering and having no self-worth and not giving them a safe place. You've heard his entire story right along with us, all right? What do you want to say to Everett?
I want to say that I appreciate your words. Thank you. And I want to say that the patience and the work that you're putting in, especially with your oldest kid, I mean, I really hope it it takes you to the point where you have a good relationship. You know, I wish just thinking about my father quickly, I wish my father had the same courage you have, Donnie. Sorry.
Say it over.
So
Just say it
I'm,
over
I'm
with Everett. That's all right.
um, I really wish my father had the same courage as you do, Everett. I really do. I mean, and as has been said, I mean, your generation is built different, you know. So that courage is double the work I do. I realize your pain. I can see it, and I just wish that the book this Sven wrote, and your own work as well takes you to the place that you want with your kids, with your relationship, and keep on loving. You know, keep on loving. Love is I know it sounds kind of corny, but um, love is the most powerful feeling that we have as humans. You know, and the patience that you're showing yourself, and the work that you're actually putting in, I really hope it pans out for you. I really do.
Beautiful. Everett, beautiful.
I appreciate that. That was. I hope the work you put in. Oh, it cut out again.
No, we got you.
Oh, okay. I hope you can find peace and realize that nothing that happened to you was your fault.
That's right.
I hope you have a. I'm impressed with the fact that you talk about loving, considering what you've gone through. And that not being destroyed is amazing.
It all coexists inside of us. It's all there. Bring it all up, fellas. Bring it all up. Flush it all out. And as it's all out, then what is left is your authentic self. And you will be who you authentically are. But all that you guys are going through, all the swirling thoughts and fears, and all the feelings pounding in your chest and in your gut, none of that was originally you. That was all the shit that got packed into you, Everett. All the shit that got done to you, Skip. All of it. We get all that out. And what we're back to is that wonderful little boy and his buddy, Skip and Everett. Imagine them both as 8-year-old boys being buddies. Just a couple of sweet little boys who didn't go through any of that. That's what happens now as we get out all that crud. Rob, you've been mysteriously silent.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, Sven, and you and Casey, even the guys, have largely answered this, but they're both working so hard. Do they need to work harder? Do they need to work differently? And if you could summarize that to them, what would you say?
I'd say the work inside of ourselves, it's like a pulse that we do. It's like, you know how the tides recede and they ebb and they flow and so forth. That's what this work is. And there are times when you're going to need to rest. And there are going to times when you just put it aside and you're going to go ignore it, whether for a day or for a week or whatever. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Rest is important. Sleep at night, shut down time just watching TV or going to a race or whatever game. But when you're in the work, keep opening. Keep opening. Because those, to use your perfect words there, Skip, extreme discomfort, that when that comes up, push yourself through it. Stay in it. Keep opening. That goes to both of you. But otherwise, what you guys are doing is great. You just got to keep pushing, and you can cycle back through the book and writing those letters and journaling. And there are other books that I recommend in the recommended reading list, and that aren't mine even, just other great books in that recommended reading list in Love Cup. But I've also written other ones, that I have. But there are some great authors who have written good stuff. Casey, I want to check in with you one last time.
I was just going to say that I love what Skip said about love.
Keep loving. Keep on
Just
loving.
keep on loving. And there was so much love in this room between all of you. And to that end, we have Community Plus for both of you to join if you want to be involved in small group sessions with Sven and other community members that are sort of like you guys, just kind of loving on each other. And then we also have a free group on Facebook, where you can post anonymously or just talk to like-minded people.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of great stuff at the website, BadassCounseling.com. Fellas, Any final thoughts? Actually, I want to ask this, not final thoughts. What are you feeling, Everett? Feeling words.
Oh, you said Everett. I was off somewhere.
It's all right. Where were you? We
Right.
couldn't.
I'm overwhelmed a little bit right now. Pretty good.
And what are you most overwhelmed with?
The work I got to do.
Sure.
I got some serious writing to do about my childhood.
There you go.
Today's overwhelming. I just know I need a break, let my mind calm down, and then
Good.
get into the writing.
Good. Go easy on yourself. And give me one more
Yeah.
feeling. One more feeling. Overwhelmed and one more feeling. What? It could be anything.
Happy.
Oh. So there is some happy in there.
Yes.
In that crusty old soul.
Be able to see this in a different light. That's being able to see like there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
There absolutely is. Skip, what are you feeling? Can be anything. Just be honest.
Absolutely grateful. I know that the challenge of healing oneself is very difficult and it's very painful.
So, and one more feeling. There's absolutely grateful. Give me one more feeling. If you're to just be honest.
Man, I just I don't know. I'm just feeling very, very grateful for what you do and what your team does. The offer KC has done. It's just amazing to find people like you guys. I mean, it's just I almost couldn't believe after I finished the book, and now that I'm actually here talking to you is just kind of surreal to me. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, for what it's worth, as my dad used to say, he puts on his pants one leg at a time. He's not so special. I put on my pants one leg at a time. I keep trying to jump into them and then I fall over. And so we're all just, what's that old phrase? Just one beggar trying to show another beggar where to find food. So thank you. Fellas, I want to thank you for being on the show. This has been a hell of a ride, both episodes. Thank you for your openness, for your courage, for your honesty, and for your trust.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You bet. And to my team, Rob, KC, final thoughts.
It's us that has gratitude for you. You're the brave one. You're the people doing the work. We're just here trying to help you. So we have a great deal of gratitude for both of you. So thank you for coming on.
Sven, you always help, but this seemed like an extreme example.
Very gracious. Could not have done it without the team. It's a team effort, and we always love having you, Casey, out of the booth. We bicker and fight before the episode, and I'm sure we'll bicker and fight afterwards. But part of makes us a good team. Rob sort of rolls his eyes a little bit.
Leave me out of this.
Yeah. Well, we know we've got another exciting episode for you next week, and with whoever these guys have lined up for next week. To all of our listeners around the world, I know we all give thanks to these wonderful men that join the show. And to all of you, please know we send our love. Slay your demons. Have a kick-ass day.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by two-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.